the bottom. Like, it looks like we're finally getting into the game. Is that me lagging or them lagging? Looks like it's them lagging. Yeah, I don't think that's me lagging, is it? Pretty sure. Wait, maybe I am lagging. It's low quality right now. Why do I go high quality? I actually don't know which one is lagging. Anyway, in any case, we got into the middle of the game when it started, and we can't see the top. We can't see the top hand. It looks like we went totem into mini bot into totem Earthshock onto the mini bot, even though it only took out the divine shield. Let me see an Xichen hand. Looks like this is dragon shaman, but with bloodlust. Okay, XiaoWo brings some weird decks. Yeah, it looks like it's definitely a secret paladin on the side of Undead here. And he tests it's neither repentance nor noble sacrifice. It's hard for me to analyze because like I'm just worried about whether my computer is lagging or theirs is. We see a blessing of might, which is something that I think Nihilum had in their secret paladin as well. As far as options are concerned, he's just gonna blessing of might. That's kind of interesting. I guess he wants to get his muster for battle out. I guess this kind of makes sense. Kind of make use of your shield mini bot. If he used the true silver, he was going to be that's all he was going to be doing that turn. A sea giant. Oh my god. Look at Undead's face. He's like, what is happening? I guess yeah. And if you true silvered coin, if you true silver into coin, blessing of might, then you can't mysterious challenger. So, oh, he's gonna just equality now. Interesting. Okay. I guess you want to get rid of that sea giant as quick as possible. You don't want to equality your own mysterious challenger next turn. Also going to be able to hero power and get out the competitive spirit, which is super nice. So yeah, he's gonna probably be able to get at least 2 guys to be buffed by competitive spirit, because if you look at the hand of XiaoWo, a lightning storm will kill everything but leave the 2 spiders. But I imagine he's probably just gonna go for the strongest play in the fire elemental, and with 2 secrets up, I guess he's just gonna go face. He doesn't want to proc the avenge, but unfortunately for him, it's competitive spirit. Probably the better play, because competitive spirit, you're only if you don't kill one of them, you're only missing. Whoa, what just happened? Why are you? Don't make me pay, don't you? So yeah, if you kill one of them, then it you risk giving your opponent +2 or +3/+2, whereas if you don't kill them, you're only getting punished by with an extra +1/+1. But in any case, the competitive spirit does go off, and now we have the mysterious challenger onto the board, which means all 5 secrets, basically everything but eye for an eye. So when you see this come up from the side of XiaoWo, you typically know how to deal with it. So what he can do is, yeah, the sequencing is a little bit difficult here because he needs to figure out which died first, or which came on the board first, and that would be the Haunted Creeper. So the Haunted Creeper is actually going to come back unless he hexes it. What he could do is Rock Biter first, and then set up the get down so that gets redempted. Looks like he's just gonna, yeah, he's just going to Lightning Storm first, so that the buff goes on to the Mysterious Challenger, so that he can then hex that. And yeah, he's going to then attack into the get down, either with his Rock Biter or with his Fire Elemental. Looks like it's going to be with the Fire Elemental. So a pretty good response, but oh, he didn't even attack. He just let the second competitive spirit go off. I think that was a mistake, honestly, because you can just kill the get down. Well, oh, he did kill the get down. Never mind, it's at 6-3. I guess I just lagged for a second there. Okay, so he did everything okay, I suppose. There might have been a different sequencing there he could have used. Like he could have he could have probably, I think it would be better Rock Fighter first, honestly, to get rid of the get down, make that get redempted, and then you can just hex and then, although I guess it becomes down to RNG then, right? You have to, like, you might not kill the 4-3 or actually the 5-4. Actually, okay. Now that I think about his sequencing is okay because it makes a 5-4 and you can't kill the 5-4 with the Lightning Storm unless you hex it, but you want to hex the Mysterious Challenger. So I guess his sequencing is the best. And we see a Murloc Knight, interestingly enough, in Undead's deck. A Murloc Knight and a Loot Hoarder. That is really bizarre, but looks like he's in good shape. That Bloodlust is not helping XiaoWo at all here. Okay, another get down. Really bad for XiaoWo. I think he might be dead on the board even with the Twilight Guardian. And, yeah, I would have almost... Did he play a Twilight Guardian before? Oh, oh, that's right. Repentance is the last one left. So, yeah, it's going to be game on the board for Undead. And he takes a 1-0 lead versus XiaoWo here. So, again, XiaoWo struggling against an open qualifier. That was an awkward start. I'm still not sure if my computer's lagging or if it's on their side. I'm just gonna refresh one more time just in case. And close some other stuff that's opening, or that's open. Let's see. I mean, it should be okay, right? I kind of want them to move some more so that I can... Okay, it looks like their portraits are kind of lagging too, so maybe it's my computer. Not sure what to do to remedy this. Okay, anyway, we're just gonna have to deal with this for now. I'll try to fix it between games. Alright, so they see the pretty standard Dragon Priest. There's like the Klento version, which doesn't run the big dragons, but I think I like the one with the big dragons better. It's better late game. You might as well have a big guy. I mean, technically something like the Cabal can 2 or 3 for 1, depending on if you get a really good minion, but it's really situational. And then being able to just guaranteed plop down a big fat dragon is probably better. Okay, so yeah, Undead's just gonna go for the Valence Chosen because neither the Worm Restoration nor this will deal with this guy by themselves. So yeah, gonna go for the Valence Chosen and kill it. And it's basically a 2-for-2 here. Unfortunately, that guy is originally a 2-1, so it just dies to the Earthshock. But yeah, a 3-mana card plus a 1-mana card for a 1-mana card and a 3-mana card. So yeah, everything's pretty much even here. The only difference being that Undead gets to kind of go first here. I'm really sorry for the lag. Maybe if I turn the quality down. What is this quality option? I don't know what that is. Let's go low, I guess. Anyway, so he gets the Powered Shield and then picks up the Blackwing Technician, which is pretty fortunate, to be honest. I would have liked to see him put the Power Shield the turn before to give him more options this turn. Like, maybe what if he drew Twilight Guardian, but it was after the Power Word Shield. He also has already seen one. He's already seen one Earthshock, so it wouldn't be likely from the Earthshock it anyway. So it wouldn't really matter. In any case, Undead has a pretty good curve here. And I'm really struggling to see the theme of XiaoWo's deck, or what the win conditions are, what the purpose of it is, because he has those big dragons, but he also has things like Bloodlust and Doomhammer, so it looks like he wants to get a lot of burst in, but that doesn't really make sense. If you're playing a combo deck, you might as well want to draw on your rest of your combos instead of having you know, just big dragons. I guess Onyxia, he had Onyxia, which obviously combos well with Bloodlust. But I don't know, it seems weird to me. So on the side of Undead, he does have the Warm Rest Agent, but it doesn't really do a whole lot. Looks like he's going to play it anyway with that powered shield. Not quite sure what this does. Yeah, Xiao, he has these Twilight Guardians in his deck too, but how many dragons does he have to enable them? I wonder if he has Blackwing Corruptors as well. That'd be interesting to have both Fire Elementals and Blackwing Corruptors. That seems like it would be a lot of removal. Maybe he just uses that as removal, and then he has the win condition of just having Burst with the Bloodlust and the Doomguard, but I feel like it's just kind of getting pulled in too many directions. In any case, the Healing Tone was pretty good. Taunt would have been decent as well here. From XiaoWo, not XiaoWo, sorry, Undead, I wonder what he does here. He can clear the Fire Elemental with a Holy Nova, but that's not the greatest. Although his guy does get up to a 3/3, which it can only be taken out by the weapon. If he knew his opponent had another weapon in hand and nothing really to do, he might do that, but obviously he doesn't know that. So yeah, it's going to be Dr. Boom. He is green after all. Yeah, it's hard to know how many... Honestly, it'd be weird if he ran 2 hexes plus 2 Earthshocks. I assume it's at least 2 hexes, but this deck is just bizarre, and he's getting a lot of removal kind of in hand. As far as burst, he does have 10 out of nowhere for 6 mana. And for the 5 mana Bloodlust, he has obviously 6 on field. So I mean, he could start trying to push face or something. Looks like he just wants to go for the Lightning Storm, but Lightning Storm doesn't really do anything either with 2 guys with 7 health on board. Kind of an awkward turn for XiaoWo at the moment. Yeah, looking at chat, Chinese players don't always bring weird lists. Sometimes sometimes just certain players, you know. Anyway, he goes for the Bloodlust, tries to get that damage in. He does have 10 damage in hand, so there is that, and he could maybe pick up some more damage, although it'd be kind of hard to fit in a lot of bursts in his deck because he has dragons and, you know, other things. So kind of weird. 17 damage is 1 turn. You can't really laugh at, or yeah, you can't really, you know, get to respect that. So on the side of Undead here, he does have that showered pain right now, which, wait, oh, he just killed off the guy. Never mind, just kidding. I was looking at his head and he killed off something, or maybe it skipped forward. I'm not sure. So okay, the Boombot that Boombot was pretty good. Now we can just Holy Nova and clear, and maybe heal his face. Chill is a little bit scary because it could get maybe Earthshock or something. Worst case scenario. I feel like you're so ahead as Undead right now, and he just like randomly went face, that you can play really kind of safe here. But oh, he killed it off with the Boombot. Okay, sorry for the lag again, by the way, guys. So yeah, that Shin was going to be a really big deal, even if it didn't do 3 damage to XiaoWo. Just going to play out his Drake and Lightning Storm and use his Rock Biter, but then he's losing a lot of damage this way as well. But he's going to clear the board, which is really nice, obviously. I'm actually kind of confused, honestly. That's well, I guess... Yeah, Undead, he did get the kill off with the Boombot, but he could have just Holy Nova'd. It's kind of bizarre to me, because he could have just played Jiesha later, and now he's in a bit of trouble. He's just going to play out his Ysera, but he's going to take at least 8 damage. Maybe he knows there's an Onyxia. I don't know. I don't even know what's happening, honestly. But we're probably going to see this Drake, and I imagine he's just going to go to the face. He could also just go for his Doomhammer. Oh, and he picks up the Rock Biter. Okay. That's interesting. If he just goes face here, then Undead. Oh, he picks up a taunt that's actually really, really huge. He could just kill the Drake and Holy Nova to kill off the other two guys. I think that's his best play, especially because having double spell damage on the field is really scary, obviously. And with your opponent only having 3 cards in hand and you having a pretty stacked hand, I feel like that's pretty good. Even if the Onyxia comes, you can just okay, sorry for the lag again. You can just sorry, I'm just like looking at his play and seeing if he's seeing what he's doing. So yeah, even with Onyxia, he can use the Asterius Awakens the next turn, although that might be a little bit scary. Yeah, sorry for the lag. I don't know what's going on today. I might have to restart my computer, although I did just restart it recently. But yeah, ooh, second Holy Nova comes to the hand, which means... What does that mean? I guess I can just Death Holy Nova and go face. He is pretty close to winning. Actually, how close is he to winning right now? He had 7 plus 5 is 12, 13, 14. He was 3 off lethal this turn, so yeah, looks like he's going to go for that. And just push everything in the face. And XiaoWo is in a lot of trouble. And honestly, I have no idea like how this shaman deck is supposed to win. It just seems like just this weird amalgamation of stuff that doesn't really make sense. Like typically your cards have to work together in order to achieve a specific goal, but when some of them are getting bored and some of them are trying to kill your opponent's face, it doesn't really work that well. So yeah, this is going to be lethal unless he somehow can't spot it. His Twilight Guardian even survives through Awakened, so yeah, going to be Awakened, hit the face, and XiaoWo is going to lose in the game. Honestly, okay, XiaoWo has qualified for 2 weeks straight, right? So that means that, well, he's gotten through like at least a field of pros, or pros, quote unquote, 2 weeks in a row, and I assume he's using these wonky decks there as well. So I just don't know. I don't know. Like it doesn't make any sense because it seems like this is the natural fate of building such a wonky deck, right? If your opponent just plays something standard, they can just beat it, because there's a reason why people don't play wonky decks, because they don't really work that well, typically. But I guess it works in the qualifiers. I don't know, maybe it just throws people off. Anyway, we see him with his Mech Mage here. We saw the Fell Ravers earlier. I think the only difference in this particular Mech Mage is the Micro Machines, which kind of makes sense a bit. It kind of works as the sort of the Whirling Zap-O-Matic a little bit, because you really have to kill it earlier. It's going to be taking a lot of damage from it. Unfortunately, it doesn't do 6 right away like the Whirling Zap-O-Matic, but it's still pretty threatening. On the side of Undead, he does have an okay curve. This would be better in a little slower matchup, like Warrior, or maybe even Druid versus Druid, as long as your opponent doesn't get Wild Growth. To be in an okay position to be in. But for now, it's a little bit slow, especially with Xiao top decking that Spider Tank. So yeah, Xiao has an absolutely amazing curve right now. But we do see the Shredder coming out on the side of Undead to kind of contest this board, but it's going to be met by the Shredder. Oh, maybe not. So do you go for the Goblin Blast Mage, or do you go for the Shredder? You could run in the Cog Master and then play the Goblin Blast Mage, and it will most of the time kill something with 2 health like this. Yeah. I think the odds are like 75% or something like that, I believe. But yeah, just Shredder coming back on the side of Undead, and every time he plays something to kind of match, quote unquote, his opponent's board, not really matching it, but he's threatening like the biggest minion, he's just taking more damage from the smaller minion. But yeah, in this case, Xiao is just gonna go face. As wonky as his decks are, he is making the correct plays most of the time. Maybe he should just bring normal decks then, if he's just going to be making, good. Okay, sorry for, that's kind of awkward that it did that. So it looks like you swipe and got kind of an awkward thing out of it. I guess you just kill the 2/1 to reduce the amount of damage. Unfortunately, that Spider Tank is still up. I wonder if he goes for the Fel Reaver. You might as well. You can pair the Fel Reaver with something like a Mana Worm, and then the next turn you can freeze something which enables a Mana Worm to do just as much damage as a Clockwork Gnome. You could also just play all your little dudes, which makes it hard for Drew to deal with. Okay, looks like he's going for the little dude option. He feels like he's far ahead enough that he's going to play something that he knows that Druid can't deal with, rather than take a risk with the Fel Reaver. The odds aren't 50% well, yeah, if you think about it. So yeah, it's gonna put the Druid the Claw up. Unfortunately, you can't freeze that on the side of XiaoWo. You can, however, play his Mech Warper and his is that health? I forgot what I don't know what the spare parts are just by looking at them. Well, not all of them. I knew the freeze one obviously. So it looks like he's gonna go for extra health on that guy, and then oh, he's gonna run the Noitron in. Okay, makes sense. He's gonna make his Mana Worm as annoying to deal with as possible, knowing that he has his spare part in hand to buff it up a little bit. And from the side of Undead, he can BGH, but there's not much else to do. Can he survive? He actually cannot survive, I don't believe. No, wait, he can BGH and Keeper the Mana Worm? No, but he's still dead. Wait, what can he do? I mean, if he does this, he's dead on board. Or, not on board, but dead from his knowledge. Because he knows that his opponent has a spare part in hand. And it doesn't matter what spare part it is, he has enough damage for lethal. Oh, wait, but he hero powers. Okay. But he can't attack. If he attacks, he's dead. Okay, never mind. That allows him to heal that by 1. But Goblin Blast Mage is guaranteed lethal. I'm going to go for it. Yeah, at least 2 damage to face, and that's going to be game. And Zhao is going to take his first game to kind of bring it back a little bit, and it's going to be 2-1 in the favor of Undead. I'm going to try to restart this again because this is kind of sad. I wonder if it's because I'm recording right now. Let me just try to stop recording for a second. Maybe that was the problem. Hopefully this helps. Okay, so now we have the Priest, which looks like Dragon Priest, which is a much more normal thing to do than bring out a wonky, bursty Shaman with dragons in it. He does have the Sylvanas in there, but I don't really mind it too much. That's not that strange. You can put Sylvanas in most decks, and I mean, unless it's in an aggro deck, usually it doesn't really fit in aggro decks. But anything that's kind of mid-rangey, even something like Zoo, you can put a Sylvanas in. So it's just really strong to have a Sylvanas in the deck, no matter what deck you're playing, really. So I don't really mind the Sylvanas. Everything else looks pretty standard. The Chromaggus you don't always play, but it is a kind of a big minion that's hard to kill, which can kind of 2-for-1 your opponent. Typically because your opponent needs to kill it right away, or else you guarantee get a 2-for-1. Yeah, we see the Wild Growth on the side of Undead. He actually has another Wild Growth. But yeah, I would like to see this Northshire Cleric come down just to put a threat on the board. Basically make it so that, like, okay, you can't just, damage my minion for later, to kill it off later. You have to, kill it off completely, or else I'm going to get some value off of this. Druid the Claw comes down, which is nice, but it's going to be met by Twilight Guardian, which you can't really get through at the moment. And he also, or speaking of XiaoWo, he also picked up a Blackwing Corruptor, which is really, really nice, coming into the following turn. And on the side of Undead here, what can he do? Obviously he has that Savage Combatant in hand. The Keeper doesn't really do a whole lot. So yeah, I would just throw down the Savage Combatant, kind of leave it at that. He could silence. Looks like he's silencing it. I don't know what that does though. I guess it prevents his opponent from killing it cleanly. But he might. I wonder if he trades in here. Maybe okay, just the 2/2, I guess. I might have been inclined to trade in the 1/3, just because it doesn't really do much now anyway. But I guess it still remains as a threat. But then his 2/2 kind of dies. I guess it's okay no matter what. But yeah, his board's gonna get mostly cleaned up here. Gonna kill off the thing that draws cards. I would have liked to see the Darknassus come on the board though, instead of using this hero power. Because Priest doesn't typically have a way to deal. Although I guess that guy is kind of annoying because he can get healed back up. Anyway, the second Black and Corrupt is pretty good, but he did have the option of playing the Sylvanas, which would have been pretty difficult to deal with anyway. So it's not that big of a deal. Ancient War coming out from Undead, and no way to deal with it on the side of XiaoWo. So I imagine we're going to see the Sylvanas come out. Yeah, just play the Sylvanas. Because now this makes it super awkward for Druid. Druid's already used its silence. A bit prematurely, I would add. But yeah, he can't... If he kills the Sylvanas, he gives his opponent a 5/5. Taunt, that is. And if he kills the 5/4, he can't play anything else, or else Sylvanas just straight up takes whatever he plays. So this is really, really awkward, to say the least. Maybe he just plays... Yeah, maybe he just plays our Darknassus and the Savage Combatant and just makes it so that his opponent takes something not that great. It's still really, really ugly though. This is why I would have liked to see him just play the Savage Combatant earlier. You don't really... It's just one of the things that a lot of people do, a lot of newer players do. I guess he's probably not that new. He's been playing decently so far, but a lot of players, a lot of mistakes people make is they want to deal with their opponent's board right away, when a lot of times providing your own threat is just as devastating, right? Looks like he's going to have a really weak play, just playing out 4 mana, or basically 2 mana, because hero power doesn't really count. 2 mana worth of stuff. Wants to give his opponent Darknassus, maybe you know, make the Battlecry go off on his opponent's side, which would make it so that the priest loses mana. But at this point, the priest is high enough in mana, it doesn't really matter too much. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna have the Valens go onto this Sylvanas. Does put in BGH range, but if he BGHs it, then he kind of just gives his opponent either the BGH or the Darknassus. Undead does pick up the second keeper, which is kind of funny, but I don't know if you want to keeper that now, because it just makes it harder to kill, really. What can you do here? I think you probably just BGH it, just straight up, and then hope it takes the Darknassus, which is really inconsequential. And you can actually just kill it and give your opponent, or take away mana from your opponent. I mean, if he takes the BGH, you can kind of just keeper that. Or you can just BGH it and then play like a Thorison or something. But yeah, I don't see the reasoning for this. You might as well just... I mean, it's just as hard to kill this guy. I mean, if you think about it, even in the worst case scenario, what's harder to kill? A 4/2 or a 5/4? I would say a 4/2 is pretty much easier to kill than a 5/4. So I don't understand the point in... I don't understand the reasoning behind this, honestly. I don't think he really thought it through. He just really didn't want his minion to get stolen, which is another thing that people kind of worry too much about. They just worry too much about their stuff getting stolen, when sometimes that's fine. But yeah, we see the Ysera hit the board, and no way to deal with it. Probably just gonna have to play his own Dr. Boom out, maybe with the Savage Combatant. You could also go Savage Combatant with the Pallid Shredder and use his hero power to kill off this Twilight Guardian, but yeah, it's going to put the most power on the board. Finally, when he has nothing else to do, when he can't actually deal with his opponent's board, he finally makes the correct play. He kind of got forced into the correct play because he had no way to deal with his opponent's board. So it's like, alright, I'm going to play the biggest thing possible, or the biggest threat possible from my side. So yeah, sorry again about the lag. Drake comes in the field. We have Holy Nova, which is pretty good in this situation. He can get some pretty good value off here. Run the Ysera into the Dr. Boom. Run the 3-4 into the 2-4. Holy Nova. It'll kill everything but the 2-drop that comes out of the Shredder. And yeah, that's pretty good. Hopefully his Ysera doesn't die, but that would be pretty unlikely since it's 7 health right now. On the Drake, doesn't kill the Drake, hits the face. A lot of damage from those boons, but overall, I think he'll take it. I definitely would take that with my Ysera still alive. So looking pretty bad for Undead at the moment. I'm going to go ahead and draw a card for 1. And see what he picks up. A 0 mana Ancient Lore is pretty good. Pretty good. I would play that. Obviously there's a bug on the screen right now, but that's pretty funny. I actually probably would still play the lore here. You might as well start drawing in the answers. He doesn't have any way to deal with the Ysera anyway. So, I mean, I guess you could use the combatant to kill this Guardian, but you might as well get more options. Yeah, gets that. Gets the Wrath off, and now he has an 07 Lar in his hand. That excess mana card is kind of wreaking havoc on this string. Anyway, we see the Cabal in hand, so XiaoWo does run Cabals. He does also have those 2 pretty beefy minions from the Ysera. Doesn't really need to be worried about dying to combo anytime soon. I suppose if his opponent had double combo, it might be an issue, but it's not something you can play around. Although I guess he's kind of far enough ahead that maybe he can play around it. Also, no spells for this poor little Pyromancer. Yeah, he might just play out this Drake as well as the okay, it looks like he's gonna go for the Cabal. He could have gone for 2-3 drops there, which would have made his board pretty huge. But this is fine as well. Even this Drake is BGH, it's gonna take up at least 2 mana from his opponent's side. So yeah, that excess mana shifting around in Undead's hand. So from Undead's point of view, you're facing down a lot of damage. Even if you BGH this 7/6, you're facing down 9 damage. Plus whatever Ysera has drawn with the last two cards, excuse me. So yeah, BGH is pretty much guaranteed. I mean, one of the easier ways to deal with this 7/6, I would believe, and I'm not really going to see anything else that big on the side of the priest typically. So yeah, going to be an Ancient Lore for cards and BGH. I mean, looks like he's just kind of trying to finish this game out. Gets a lot of big guys on the board and draws into combo, which is really nice. Shadowman is not going to do anything. So actually, Undead's kind of brought this game back, and that's kind of the power of Druid, right? Because if this situation were flipped and Druid was the one with the board on the bottom and Priest on the top, then Druid could just go face because he knows that the Priest doesn't have any way to deal with it. But Priest has to trade every single time in this situation, which kind of sucks. I wonder what's happening here. Oh, he's gonna hit that guy and then use Nightmare? But you could have just used Nightmare and killed that guy without getting your Ysera into it. I think this is... I don't think he did this correctly. He took an extra 1 damage, I believe. Yeah, he definitely took an extra 1 damage, because if he's gonna Nightmare here, he could have just killed that guy anyway. It just looked clean on his side. He's gonna go face? Maybe he goes face here. Yeah, I guess he's gonna go... Wait, what? What? What is the... Okay, what I guess, but I guess he was gonna die anyway. The 4/5 was gonna die anyway because of the damage from the Pyromancer, but I guess he wanted a 9/5 just in case it did something. Like maybe it distracts his opponent or something. But yeah, that was interesting. But yeah, he took extra damage on Ysera for no real reason. He could have just hit the Big Game Hunter and Nightmare the 1/2. Yeah, hit the 4/5 into the 5/1 or whatever it was. Because having a guy alive through Nightmare doesn't actually help you at all. So yeah, on the Druid side, again, sorry for the lag. I'm probably gonna restart the stream after this. Yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and kill off this Jiesha once and for all. And he's actually gone. He's been drawing like 2 cards a turn essentially with his Ancient of Lores, and the cards from the that he's gotten off of the off of Ysera haven't been great. So actually, okay, now this guy's hurting him. It's actually gonna actively hurt him if it goes on the wrong, and it goes on the wrong one. So this actually was straight up a misplay by XiaoWo to leave that guy in the field for that situation if he's gonna have a death rattle on the board. So it actually just straight up hurt him to have that. So it was actually just straight up a misplay for him to be cute and leave the guy alive. Okay. Yeah, this is really bizarre, honestly. I think he wanted to make up for the fact that he made a mistake with the Ysera, so he made the other guy bigger to make it look cooler. I don't know. 0 mana Loatheb into the end of Undead. And yeah, it looks like XiaoWo was just behind. I mean, this might have happened anyway because Druid was pretty ridiculous with his draws. But still, I mean, XiaoWo obviously with some misplays there. I mean, if this were a 3-8, it'd be a much different story, honestly. I imagine we see a Dream onto at least one of these cards, yeah. Dream, and then probably kill this Drake off with a Holy Nova. Yeah, and then play the Wormrest Agent. I don't understand why he hasn't played the Wormrest Agent yet. I don't understand the purpose of not playing it. Yeah, he could have had just extra 1 damage this turn onto the face. Yeah, I don't understand. But yeah, Bear coming back into the field. You can't play it as a charger this time, and Loatheb hurts a lot. This is why I don't play Shadow Medicine's deck, guys, because a lot of times it's really bad. Although I guess it's kind of a bad example, right? Because sometimes it's really, really good. So yeah, uses the Powered Shield onto the Wormrest Agent, and combo in hand is that lethal. It's 21 plus 6, so 27, has 27 damage. But he's getting a lot of stuff on the field, and he's already seen 2 Holy Novas, I believe. And nothing to Shadow Menace as well. The Valens can be put onto the Wormrest Agent, but it only gets up to 3 attack, which doesn't kill this Druid Claw. And yeah, that's gonna do it. That's not a taunt, that's not a heal. He has no way to clear any of the things on the board. 310 Wormrest Agent's not going to do too much. And that's going to be game unless he somehow misses this lethal, which is one of the more obvious lethals you'll ever see. Yeah, he's hovering over it. He's just counting it right now. But it's more than lethal. He even got the second roar, hiding behind the excess mana. And that's going to be it. XiaoWo is going to fall to an open qualifier for the 2nd week in a row after qualifying for two weeks in a row. And Undead moves on. Congratulations. Tiddler aren't with it anymore. So we're getting into the games. Going to be Zihao on the left / top, and going to be Love on the bottom / right. Wait, what's going on? Yeah, BCB looks like it's going a little bit better now. Oops, sorry. Probably gonna still be a little bit laggy. Sorry, that would be my phone. My bad. Anyway. So, looks like we have a weird paladin from Zihao. Struggling to see what this actually is. Okay, it looks like it's lagging again. Gonna go in a lower setting. Right, it's a little bit blurry, but probably better than it lagging, right? Not really sure what this paladin is, honestly. It has a quartermaster, but everything else looks very aggro-y. On the side of Love, just standard-ish mech mage with the Blinktrunk 3000 in there. Yeah, I don't really see any reason why not to play a Synchrotron Technician right now. Puts a lot of pressure on the board. It can get cleared, but... Well, I guess this entire board can get cleared by Zihao right now. And the... I think that's wrong placement by the Darulf. Or maybe he didn't have a choice. I guess he had to put it next to the ooze, so yeah, maybe that's something he could have done. In any case, going to see this this Chugga him out with a ping, which makes a little bit of sense because now he can't kill this without using his face, or both of his minions, and he could have used 2/2/1 on a Spider Ding anyway. So not really much for Love to be able to do there. Aside of Zihao, he's going to go ahead and put on a mini-bot instead of going for the Quartermaster. I guess he just wants to maximize the value out of this Quartermaster, but it means he has to use his face on the guy instead of one of his dudes. Yeah, Blingtron coming out here. I guess that was the reason why, another reason why Love used that, is that he could make sure that his opponent couldn't use his weapon right away once he plays the Blingtron. And did they get the same weapon? I didn't really get to see the swing there, so I don't know how much damage it did, but it looks like it's the same weapon. If it's a power mace on the side of Zihao, I'm not sure if he has any mechs in his deck. Oh no, he has the mini-bot. What am I talking about? So that actually might be huge if that mini-bot ends up surviving. Anyway, we get to see what weapon this is. It is a power mace. Okay, so that's actually really good for Love because he can make one of his guys much bigger. Yeah, Garrett makes this Blingtron into a 3/6, which is pretty good for combat purposes. Go ahead and kill this mini-bot as soon as possible, so that he doesn't get the death rattle off the power mace, which he could do right now if he wanted to play the Choose Silver, but obviously no mechs available anymore. So yeah, that Blingtron has been through a lot. It's been it's been outlawed and then buffed again and then hurt again, and now it's exactly the same exact stats that it was before. And Zihao looked to be in a good lead, at least tempo wise, but now Love seems to have caught up a little bit. Receiving a weapon when you're a paladin isn't that big of a deal, obviously, because you have so many weapons in it anyway. But he is going to be able to play this Quartermaster and just kind of push damage to face, and go with his weapon to face too as well, which means that Love is going to have to be playing defense, which is not a place you really want to be in. I wonder if he plays out this Goblin Blast Mage or he just plays a Spider Tank and a couple of Frost Bolts. He needs to clear off, obviously, a bunch of damage off his opponent's side of the board. In fact, he needs to clear everything but one minion, which is kind of a rough spot to be in. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be double Frostbolt into Spider Tank, and to clear one of the 3/3s off and probably go face here. Yeah, it looks like that's what he does. Again, excuse the lag. Nothing I can do really right now. But yeah, it looks like he picked up another Shoe Silver. I don't know. I guess he could equip that just for the healing, because he knows it's really one of the only ways he dies unless his opponent gets like a no Edge or something. But it looks like he's gonna go face with that. I guess this makes sense because he gets the 4 now, threaten lethal next turn, and he also gets to clear this 3/1 with his 2/5. So makes a bit of sense. Is he gonna go face here? I would rather just clear the 3/1. I mean, you know, there's no healing in Mech Mage, and yeah, it goes ahead and clears it off. And just to remove any potential nonsense from his opponent's side of the board, Love cannot taunt or kill his opponent or heal. So, oh, he's gonna give him a different weapon. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that is one way to do it. I guess from his point of view, he could give him a different weapon and then he wouldn't have lethal technically, but we know that Zihao has that second Choose Silver in hand, so it's not going to make any difference at all. And yeah, Zihao is going to take game number 1 in this series. Again, sorry for a little bit of lag. Nothing really you can do. I'm sorry for the low quality of the stream. Again, not much that I can do at the moment. But yeah, Zihao takes game number 1. We didn't really go over the classes, but Warrior, Hunter, Paladin for Zihao, and Mage, Paladin, and Warrior on the side of Love. Obviously, that Mage not working out so well for him in this case. And yeah, so Zihao is left with the Hunter or the Warrior. If he's playing Control Warrior, that would be bad against Paladin. Otherwise, he can go with pretty much any deck. I guess if his Hunter runs into a Patron Warrior, that'd be bad. So, looks like we're having a Warrior mirror. We will see if they actually are mirrors. So yeah, Patron Warrior on the side of Love. We will take a look at Jihao's hand in a moment. Both got basically, yeah, they both got the same weapons both times in a row. That's kind of crazy. It's really, really unlikely, huh? Alright, so Zihao. Patron Warrior as well. So this is a pretty straightforward matchup. Whoever gets 4 patrons on the board first wins about 85 to 90% of the time. If neither player can get out 4 patrons on turn 5 or 6, then it becomes a really, really, really interesting matchup. I actually enjoy the matchups where they don't get the patrons out right away, because that leads to a lot of, you know, high-level decision-making on whether you can propagate patrons on the board, and really separates the men from the boys, as they say, in terms of this matchup, because oftentimes you see, you know, an inexperienced patron player beat an experienced patron player because they recognize, you know, all I have to do is get my patrons on the board and I win the game. But it's really funny going into like the later stages of the game, and both players had to make these really tough decisions as far as whether you propagate your patrons or not, because your opponent could just OTK you, and it's really interesting. And you oftentimes see the really experienced patron players know how to navigate those situations, and the less experienced players kind of falter somewhat. And we might actually get that this game. We do have. Oh, don't stop advertising to me. Don't you stop advertising your crap to me. We do have 2 pieces of the combo, so to speak, in Jihao's hand, and he has an excuse to play out that Death Flight, so now he can kind of YOLO it. Not really YOLO. He's not YOLOing because he gets to kill something right now, and it's a pretty clean kill. But for one, he gets to kind of not bluff, but he has the threat of the patron propagation on the following turn. That he can present to Love while, you know, killing something else. So if Zihao can pick up that Inner Rage, the game is, well, not over, because Love does have Thorison into a couple of pieces. But yeah, looks like Jihao's just gonna go ahead and play out 2 minions. Not gonna swing. He might swing next turn to get that Battle Rage off, but for now, gonna go ahead and hold off. Love does have the frothing, as well as a whirlwind, and well, he has, okay, basically most of his hand is, you know, stuff like that. So he has the frothing, War Song, whirlwind, and patron, which means that for just 8 mana, he can go off pretty hard, and most likely get some sort of lethal if Zihao propagates onto the board. Instead, gonna go out and play this double Acolyte. Gonna get more cards. Gonna be a little more greedy. I do like this play. Really hard to swing with this. Yeah, really hard to swing with this Despite on the side of Zihao right now. And can't really do anything with his Armorsmith either. So this is turning into a really, really interesting game, honestly, because it's getting to the point where I was talking about before, where neither player can propagate patrons, or else they're just going to die to the other player. On the side of Zihao, we actually do have War Song. We have the same exact thing. We have War Song, Whirlwind for free, Frothing Patron, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, this game is getting pretty insane at the moment. Obviously, can't really enjoy it as much as you normally would because of the lag and the quality issues, but nonetheless, this is a really interesting game. So many options on both players, and now the Emperor Thorson comes out on Love's hat, and they both have huge burst combos. Actually, wait, does Jiesha, or sorry, Zihao? I'm mixing up their names. I'm mixing up Xichen and Zihao. Zihao, does he have his lethal here? I don't believe so. I think he does need that 8 mana. On 9 mana, he almost guaranteed has it. Oh, he does have 2. Does he? Maybe he does have it. Looks like he's just gonna go for it. If he... No, he can't do it with only patrons, though. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have lethal, which means that Love probably has lethal coming back. Well, he only has 1 whirlwind, which is an issue. I think you need both whirlwind. Yeah, you probably need both whirlwinds to kill your opponent. I guess... And then I guess the other thing that Zihao is thinking about is that he does have armor smith, so he's going to get a lot of armor, which makes it hard for his opponent to kill him. He's running out of time, though, with this. I don't think he's going to get all these attacks off, honestly. That free whirlwind's going to help as well as his battle rage. I think he's reaching for the battle rage. I'm not sure he's going to get all these attacks off. We will see. It's going to be close. Looks like he backed off from his chair. I don't know if he got it or not. We have a card floating in the middle of the screen. I have no idea what that is. I don't know if it's 0 mana or maybe the game broke because he did too many things in one turn. Oh, he executed it. Okay, I feel like he could have just thrown the 3/1 into it instead. And that's something he could have definitely just queued up. Although, getting the extra damage to face is nice as well. And 2/1 whirlwinds inside of Love. I think that is lethal actually. Yes, well, he has 8 mana, but I guess the extra whirlwind doesn't help because that would take 9 mana. He kind of needs to go though, I believe, or else he's well, huh. This is actually kind of hard because no, actually doesn't have lethal because the 2 whirlwinds. He only has the 1 frothing. And wait, what did he do? He slammed and he armored. Okay, yeah, he has lethal next turn is the thing. So looks like he's just trying to get as much damage off the board so his opponent doesn't have lethal. Knowing that he didn't have lethal this turn because with the 2 whirlwinds, it got cancelled out by like 1 frothing gets cancelled out by 1 armor smith, and he couldn't play the patrons with the frothing because he only gets 1 whirlwind that way. And yeah, it looks like this is going to be, sorry for the lag again, but it looks like it's going to be pretty much guaranteed lethal. He's going to have, I think he has an attack with some of these patrons as well. And he's going to have, what is that, 9 damage frothing. Plus he's a Firewall RX in hand, and he has an inner rage, so yeah, this is I would say about 10 damage over lethal. But yeah, this is what I was talking about. This is actually a really cool game that we saw. Very, very well played by both sides. Again, sorry about the lag. We didn't really get to see we didn't get to see really what happened, but I mean through the couple of frames per second up there, we were able to see what happened, and honestly, very well played game by both sides. It wasn't as clear cut as patron games normally are, where one player gets the combo off and the other player just kind of dies. They were both playing around their opponent's possibilities and not overcommitting to the board until they had something they could do. And yeah, again, really, really cool game to watch there. And you can tell both these players are very experienced. And again, I'm very sad that they've managed to like go against each other in the first round, but I guess them's the breaks. Anyway, we're gonna have the same mech mage from earlier from Love. Looks like he has Polymorph Boar in his hand, which is a kind of interesting tech that some Chinese players put in. It's nice because you can get rid of your opponent's threat, but more often than not, you can get a little extra burst. 3 mana 4 damage is pretty good. You typically have minions on the board to be able to do that, so it's kind of like just playing a Huffer out of your hand when you need it. And you can kind of turn bad minions into better ones. The Talsi Decan is really, really bad to get right here. He's basically playing 2 mana. He just paid 2 mana for a 2/1, no charge. So basically a much worse option than that Clockwork Gnome there, which is unfortunate. He could have gone for the Noitron there, but then the Divine Shield gets popped off for as cheap as you're going to get it popped off, barring some sort of weird ping nonsense from like a Knife Juggler in the future. But yeah, I can understand going for the Unstable Portal there. If you get 3-drop, it's really good. If you get even like a 4, 5, 6-drop, it's really good too, because you can play it in future turns for a lot of tempo value. Looks like instead it's gonna, or not instead, excuse me. He part of the reason why he went for that Unstable Portal is because he does have the 2-drop into 2 turn into 1-drop this turn right now. Did pick up the Goblin Blast Mage for next turn, which is really nice. Zihao has a lot of high quality cards, but nothing that's that great this turn. I imagine he's just going to kind of equip a bow and kill off this Annoyatron and set up for next turn where he could coin Kodo and usually guarantee a kill on the Mech Warper. Although if he swings into one, it doesn't really matter. It takes the same amount of damage anyway. Looks like he's going to go ahead and kill Command. Feels like that's a bigger threat. Doesn't really need to kill off this Annoyatron right away. Makes a bit of sense. Yeah, I might as well we're gonna see kill on this Haunted Creeper first, and then play the Goblin Blast Mage, then go face no matter what, hits wherever, and this is typically the result of Goblin Blast Mage. With 4 shots, typically you get what you want. King's Lex coming here on the side of Zihao loses the Joust, unfortunately. Going to coin into that kill command to kill off the Blast Mage. And he's at 22 health, but he's stabilizing a bit. I wonder if we're going to see the Polymorph Boar on the side of Love in order to get that extra damage in. He might Time Rewinder his Annoyatron as well. I wonder if he Time Rewinder his Boar. That'd be kind of interesting. But yeah, he can't really push damage to face with his hand right now. He needs to kind of go for the long game. But if he goes for the long game, what does he actually do this turn? So kind of a tough turn. He's gonna hit the face with that. Oh, okay. Looks like he's gonna clear the board, and okay. He's valuing damage is what he just did. He's valuing damage. He could have done this exact same thing. Yeah. Okay. This is actually better. He gets some more damage this way. I was thinking like the obvious trade was with the 2-1 to the 3-2, but this way he gets a little extra damage. So good play by him. Jihao's gonna go ahead and equip the bow. Now he's a little bit vulnerable to some burst. The top deck on the Drake. I have to read the play when it skips ahead, but what can you do, right? So yeah, the top deck on the Drake, which is really nice for the situation. On the side of Zihao, going to play out that Savannah High main. Going to have to take 4 more damage to the face, which is painful, particularly in light of this Dr. Boom. And this is the kind of snowball effect that can happen when you're playing aggro versus aggro. I mean, this is mid-range on the side of the Hunter, but typically you want to be pretty aggressive with a Hunter no matter what type of deck you're playing. And this is the way that this game can snowball, where Zihao wanted to be aggressive, but he's been forced to kind of trade this entire time. I don't really see any good way to get rid of this Dr. Boom. You can run your high main in, and then run in your 1-1, and then run your 1-1 into one of the Boom bots. Okay, looks like he's just going to silence one of them so he doesn't get any damage off. Yeah, I guess we're going to see probably the... okay, this makes sense. He's gonna maybe snipe off the 1-1 with the Kodo first. Oh, he's gonna guaranteed kill it. Okay. Wait, I like the Kodo onto this 1-1 first because it could hit the high main, which would be really good. Yeah, I don't really like this play as much. I don't understand. I guess he doesn't want to get his owl killed, but I think he needs to be taking a bigger risk right here. This is almost guaranteed gonna do some good damage. Gets 2 on the Kodo, which is the best option, or one of the better options for Zihao. So he's still in this game. We could have Antonidas Time Rewinder, but then he's still 3 turns off of getting that lethal. Looks like a little more lag. 3 mana Thorson, pretty good card. I'm gonna get that Thorson and the Snow Chugger onto the field, which means that Zihao once again has to deal with it. Looks like he's gonna go for this play. He knows he can't really play this Eagle Hornbow. He can't take any more damage to the face. So he's just going to have to trade everything, or use his minions to trade. What's he got for the Ram Wrangler? He gets the Rhino, which is pretty good. 1 Knife Juggler hits well and 1 doesn't. It looks like he made the necessary trade. Sorry about that again, guys. And Zihao is somehow still in this. We could again see the... Yeah, probably going to see the Antonidas. Time Miner, the Antonidas, or maybe Time Miner something else. Oh, okay, this makes sense. He's going to time her under the Antonites and just not play anything. He's going to go ahead and get that fireball so he can ping. Yeah, we see that Oasis Snapdraw on the side of Zihao. That's to proc things like Ram Wrangler, but yeah, not going to be enough. Love taking a little bit of chance there, but he's seen 2 kill commands, I believe. Yeah, he saw 2 kill commands earlier. Even with double quick shot, that this was going to be impossible. So, I was going to say calculated risk on the side of Love, but pretty much just guaranteed lethal there. He wasn't going to die. So yeah, Love takes that game, and now it's back to 2 games to 1, I believe. Yeah, 2 games to 1 on the side of Zihao. I don't believe. Yeah, we haven't. I was gonna say we haven't seen this paladin before, and seeing that it's super aggro paladin, we definitely haven't seen this before. Ooh, equality and owl in the hand of Love. That is really bad. The good news is he's playing aggro paladin, so he's probably going to be able to draw into some good cards here. Goes to the leopard gnome, trades better into certain cards. It also just gets more damage onto his opponent right away. Really bad against the Hunter Creeper though. Gonna go ahead and hero power turn 2, and Zihao is pretty happy to see that. Not too happy to see aggro paladin, obviously, because that's not a very good deck for Mid-range Hunter to be facing against. Goes to the King's Leg, just plays on curve. Wins the joust, which is nice, and also gets the Hunter Creeper, which is really nice. That is one of the best jousts you will ever see. One of the problems with winning jousts is that even if you win it, you get like a really late game creature, and if you're playing in particular against an aggro matchup like this, then you're not going to be able to play that minion for a long time, so winning the joust is a lot of times inconsequential. But he actually gets a minion that he can play pretty soon here. He also gets 9 for Grizzly off of that Web Spinner, which is very useful. So yeah, overall very nice that he got that. I would like to see actually this. Yeah, he's gonna go ahead and go for the Oasis Snapjaw and take a chance that his opponent doesn't have an owl, because if he plays a Snapjaw here, he can then Houndmaster the Snapjaw the following turn. Ooh, Blessing of Kings. I think I would like to see the Blessing of Kings this turn, although I guess triple Divine Shield's pretty good as well. He can kind of pick and choose which divine or which minion he wants to put the Divine Shield on. But yeah, going to see this Houndmaster buff up this turtle and make it a 4/9, which is massive, but it's immediately probably going to get silenced. 8 health is way too much to get around. Could also see the equality. Yeah, equality is probably a little bit better here, especially because none of your minions are actually affected by it. Zihao maybe could have read into Love's play and saw him kind of reach for the owl first, so maybe he thinks he has an owl, but in any case he can maybe just guess he has an owl anyway, just because of the fact that really he's going to trade away his taunt. I would like to see the taunt stay on the board. I guess he evaluates his Divine Shields a lot. It makes a little bit of sense, I suppose. So, but yeah, Zihao, oh, that is absolutely the worst one by far. Unfortunate. I wonder if he trades off. Well, I guess his opponent is at 23, so get another 19 is pretty good. Maybe he can start racing at some point. He does have a little bit of damage in his hand. The side of Love, he has more damage, more damage than Zihao does. Unfortunately, he's gonna go ahead and actually kill off the Huffer. Interesting. I guess he's a little bit he's respecting the damage a little bit, and he gets to keep his 5/5 alive. Could get silenced, so it's something that he's cognizant of. He gets 6 damage to the face anyway. His opponent's pretty low, and he has Leroy and Choose Over in hand. It's one of those weird situations as an aggro player where a lot of times, you know, people think of aggro, you think you have to kill him right away, right? But sometimes if you have enough damage in hand and you're kind of racing a bit, you can kind of play the long game, saying that, like, as long as he doesn't kill me, I can 100% kill him, kind of thing. And looks like that's what Love is going for. It's a really good way to play around this freezing trap with this Celsi deckhand. Gonna go phase, get his opponent down to 2, and I really don't see any way that actually that's a little bit of a mistake in sequencing. Could have been explosive, in which case this guy would have died. Yeah, gonna get him down to 2, and there's no way for Zihao to kills opponent. He's going to have to play. Yeah, he's going to have to play the bear, and looks like he's going to play the bear and probably the snakes. Yeah, he's going to have to play the snakes, and then maybe probably run this Haunted Creeper into, yeah, into the 6-1. Hopefully he gets it here. If he doesn't get it here, okay, he looks like he gets it anyway. If he didn't get it, we probably would have seen. Well, okay. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I was gonna say, I was thinking about the potential for the snakes and using the owl and knife juggler, but that doesn't make any sense because you just use the owl and the taunt, and there's no hunter trap that stops a weapon from hitting your face, unfortunately, unless it kills them. So, yep, Love's gonna take that game, and it's going to tie up the series 2-2. And as expected from these two very, very strong players, these Blizzcon qualifiers, we are going the distance. And I mean, we've seen some smart decks so far, but it just shows the skill that they, or not skill. I mean the intelligence that they have, as well as, or as far as the decks that they've brought. Anyway, we're going to go into Game 5. It's going to be Mid-Range Hunter versus Patron Warrior, and this is heavily, heavily favored for the Patron Warrior. So, Zihao, after being up 2-0, now he's in a very, very bad spot. Let's see if you can pull this one out. Misdirection, so yeah, that's true. But you don't play around misdirection in that situation, especially against a Mid-Range Hunter. Alright, so, Love has a pretty good hand. No weapon, but other than that, he does have that, Armor Smith. Oh, wait, what? Okay, I thought we were lagging, but I guess we're repeating stuff too as well. So, he has the Armor Smith, and he has his Unstable Goals. Pretty good. We saw the Hunter's Mark onto the Armor Smith. That's one of the better ways, or better things you can use. To deal with Armor Smith, even though it seems wasteful. If your opponent, for instance, spawns patrons on the board, you've probably already lost. So good to use that early. Make sure your opponent doesn't get that much armor. I usually, I don't know if I like seeing him not attack the Mad Scientist. It usually doesn't matter, but if his opponent gets a Misha, I guess it doesn't really matter either way. Anyway, so Love gets the Patron combo, and there's no way for a Zihao to deal with this on the board, which really, really sucks. You can see on Jihao's face there, through the low frame rate, that he's like very, very sad about this. Yeah, this is just very, very sad. Not gonna be able to kill these spectral spiders, but it doesn't really matter from Love. He's only taken 4 damage so far, which is perfectly fine. But yeah, Gazrilla not gonna really do much right now. He kind of needs that removal. He might. What would you do here? Okay, he looks like he's gonna kill off one guy with a spectral spider. I'm gonna go the rest phase. Armor Smith is very, very good in this situation. I imagine you. I don't know why you'd swing into the Hyman. I think you swing in the 1/1 regardless of what secret it is, because if it just dies, then that's just bad. Because you're not going to throw both into it, and you would slam it first if you're going to throw it in. So it's kind of strange. Probably going to see the Armor Smith to make sure he just doesn't die to anything wacky. So he can play the Armor Smith and just start swinging into these spiders. He can, yeah, looks like that's what he's going to do as it skips ahead. So you can just hit all these spiders. Actually, you can't because you don't have a war song. Excuse me. But what you can do is do what he just did and make it so that if there's any sort of Knife Juggler or Unleash nonsense, that there's no real clean way to clear the board. The Armor Smith just kind of complicates things, right? Because it provides another quote-unquote threat. It's not really a threat to you, but you can't win the game if this Armor Smith is on the table, which is unfortunate. So you're going to do all you can. Basically clearing out the Armor Smith there, even though he loses 7 damage essentially, he's going to gain it back because the Armor Smith's going to get a lot more damage than that. I would like to see this frothing on the table come on the table before he... well, I guess he's going to get 6 patience, so it doesn't really matter too much. But if he plays the frothing now, that's a bit of a mistake in my opinion. I mean, it could die to something like Quick Shot, but who cares, really? I mean, it's unlikely his opponent's going to have Big Game Hunter in his deck anyway. He even attacked into one of the Hinds before. I wonder what he's playing around, honestly. He's playing around Big Game Hunter? But if his opponent... No, he's not playing around Big Game Hunter. That was just... Maybe he had too many minions on the board? Did he have too many minions on the board? That might have been the case. Wait, he had 3 patrons, though. They propagated 3 times each. I'm confused. Anyway. Maybe it was just the frame rate that was screwing me over. I can't really see what's happening. But yeah, even this Gazrill is probably not going to do much. Worst case scenario, he just trades in his patron and his frothing, and he still has 3 patrons or 2 patrons on the board and 1 patron in hand, which is annoying to deal with. I can't imagine you leave that alive though, because maybe your opponent has, you know, if your opponent has double quick shot or quick shot kill command onto its own guy, it still doesn't kill it, and he does 24 damage, which isn't lethal technically, but still you don't want to put yourself in that position. I feel like you have a big enough of a board advantage where you can kind of kill it off. You've also dealt with 2 high mains already. Like, the only thing you're dealing with from now on is going to be a Dr. Boom, and you can more or less deal with that as well, and that's if your opponent has Dr. Boom. I can't really see a situation in... Yeah, there's like almost no situation in which you clear this off that you lose the game. Oh, he's gonna do it this way. That's interesting. I think I prefer having 2 3/3s that you need to kill. You can't like kill them incrementally, than a 14/4 that you can kill pretty easily if you have something that can kill it. You do put a lot of damage onto your opponent, but yeah, I feel like this is kind of letting Zihao back into the game a little bit. Obviously, being at 8 health is not a good place to be, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, it's still okay for Love. It's just not the best. Gonna run to this Snake Trap, which is unfortunate. Probably play... Yeah, gonna play the Acolyte, plus the Inner Rage, plus the Battle Rage. Gonna cycle the Acolyte and the Inner Rage, and get 2 more cards off the Battle Rage, and still be able to draw a card to the Acolyte. Pretty good turn. Gonna go ahead and play his Cruel Taskmaster onto the field. He actually is threatening lethal right now, and he gets to armor up as well. So, I mean, I guess I disagreed with his throwing away his patrons earlier, but he's still in an awesome spot. There's nothing really that Zihao can do right here. And this is, although this is pretty much the nature of the matchup, right? This is just how the matchup works. Patrons just kind of win it because the mid-range warrior can't kill them fast enough. And it's really lethal. It's really lethal right here. The frothing can get up to just 4, which, although you can get another war song onto the field, or you can execute. Then you can froth. You can war song frothing, or war song frothing war song. Wouldn't he have lethal? He would have been 1 off lethal here. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. Just because it hits the face with, just gets to, hit the face with this frothing. And there's no healing on the side of Hunter. There could be a taunt maybe, but it's unlikely. And yeah, Love is going to pull off the reverse sweep and take out Zihao. Our China champion, Love, is going to do it again. And Zihao cannot be happy about this one. He's up 2-0. I think Love beat Zihao in the semifinals of the China Championships as well, if I remember correctly.